Hey everyone. A year ago, I posted the following on social media.
How did you know when it was time to go? I still have lots of warm feelings for my husband, but he is the least engaged partner you could imagine, and I've been incredibly lonely for a very long time.
He's a good man, though. The response was overwhelming. I mean, women get it, don't they? So many of you reached out with your own stories and asked me to share mine. It took some time to process it all. But as I did, I realized something profound. My story, our stories, they're not just about divorce. They're about something so much bigger. They're about love, about hope, and about finding the courage to choose ourselves. These are 3 moments when I realized my marriage was over. Have you ever had a moment in your life where you just needed your person? Like you just needed them to hold your hand, look you in the eye, and tell you everything was going to be all right? Well, I had one of those moments a few years back. I had this spot on my ear. You know how sometimes you just get a little something and you think it's nothing, but then it just doesn't go away? That was this spot. Turned out it was skin cancer. Now don't worry, it wasn't anything too serious, just a basal cell carcinoma. But still, the C word is scary, right? I had to go to the doctor, get it removed, the whole 9 yards. It wasn't major surgery or anything, but it was still a big deal to me. It was painful, and I was scared. And you know what? My husband at the time, he completely forgot about it. He forgot about my appointment, forgot I was going through this. It wasn't until after, when I was home, hurting, that he even remembered. And even then, there was no empathy, no understanding. It was like he couldn't even see my pain. That's when I started to realize how alone I felt in our marriage. You know, life throws curveballs when you least expect it, and sometimes those curveballs can really knock you down. That's what happened to me a few years ago. I was going through some hormone changes, and let me tell you, it was rough. I was extremely emotional, crying all the time. It felt like I was living in this dark cloud and I couldn't see a way out. I was having these flashbacks, these traumatic memories from my past, resurfacing like they were happening all over again. It was a really scary and confusing time. I now know that it was likely a PTSD response, but at the time, I just felt lost and alone. I tried to talk to my husband about it, to explain what I was going through. We were even in couples counseling at the time, so I thought surely this is a safe space to be vulnerable, right? But even there, I was met with defensiveness. He couldn't understand why I was so emotional, why I couldn't just snap out of it. I remember one evening I was feeling particularly low, and I tried to talk to him about it. I told him how lonely I was feeling, how much I needed him to just hold me and listen. You know what he said? He told me not to talk to him about it in the evenings because it was affecting his sleep. Can you believe that? In that moment, I realized that I couldn't keep pouring my heart out to someone who wasn't willing to even try to understand. So there we were, stuck in this rut, going through the motions of couples counseling. I was desperate for something to change, for us to find a way back to each other. Around that time, I was doing a lot of personal growth work, reading books, attending workshops, you name it. And one of the things that really resonated with me was the power of questions. I realized that asking someone a question is about so much more than just getting information. It's about connection. It's about saying, I see you, I value you, and I want to know more about what's going on inside your heart and mind. I was so excited to share this with my husband. I thought this could be a game changer for us. So I brought it up in therapy. I explained how important it is to ask each other questions, to really listen to the answers, and to use those questions as a way to bridge the gap between us. I waited for him to start asking me questions. I waited for weeks. Nothing. Then our therapist, bless her heart, she suggested this app. It was an app designed for couples with all these thought-provoking questions to help spark meaningful conversations. I thought it was a great idea. My husband, he downloaded the app right then and there in the therapist's office. I was hopeful. But you know what? He never used it. Not once. I tried to bring it up a few times, suggested we try it out after dinner one night, but he always had an excuse. He was too busy, too tired, didn't have time. Finally, I decided to take the lead. I thought, maybe if I model it for him, he'll get the idea. So, one evening after dinner, I pulled out the app and asked him a question. He answered it, but it was like pulling teeth. Then, he asked me a question, straight from the app, no effort to even come up with his own. And that was it. That was the extent of our meaningful conversation. I realized then that I couldn't force him to be curious about me, to want to know me deeply. And that was a tough pill to swallow. The funny thing is, just in closing, I could have gotten over all three of those. If it hadn't been for other things that happened, things that cut even deeper, that made me question everything I thought I knew about love and commitment. But those stories, those are for another time. Because the truth is, healing is a journey, not a destination. And sometimes the bravest thing we can do is to simply keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when it feels impossible. And to all of you out there who are going through something similar, know that you are not alone. Your story matters, your pain is valid, and your heart, my friend,